subscribers. I know my Yeti's back for today. I just thought I'd do a little bit of like my original Yeti, which is my favorite mic of all times, and I thought I'd give you guys just a fun whispers and some story time, maybe some creepy story time. But I also wanted to let you guys know that I have a lot of things coming in store, so I'm gonna do like a little announcement. If you guys want to switch, I will put the timestamp here. But number one, I have something very fun for November 1st, my birthday month. My birthday is November 3rd, and one of my patrons actually gave me this amazing giveaway, like raffle idea. So basically, what's gonna happen is starting November 1st, you're gonna be able to subscribe to my Patreon. I'm gonna be adding a new tier. So the new tier that I'm adding, it's basically what everyone's getting right now: 8 videos a month, over 60, now probably 80 archive videos, and the access to my ear eating videos without cover and everything. That's gonna be $11 a month. Now here's the fun part: if you want to be entered into the raffle, the giveaway, you can subscribe for the $16 tier. So it's gonna get the 8 videos a month, it's gonna get the archive videos, but you're gonna be entered into a raffle where I will pick one person from my patrons to get a 10-minute custom video. I will give you guys more details on what those options will be, and I want to be very clear, I'm doing this for my patrons. So if you guys want to enter, you have to go down to my description and become a patron for $16 a month. I will be doing this November 1st, and then I may be making it a monthly thing to be able to give my viewers access to a custom video. I am making this specifically for my patrons because I've had my loyal patrons support me through so much, and if I made custom videos, if I even thought about doing that, it's gonna be for them first and foremost. And other than that, I'm not doing custom videos upon request, but this is really fun, and I hope that you guys understand, and I hope that you guys know how much I love you guys. And also, I'm so happy you guys are loving the shorts. I do have a TikTok, which I will link down below, where I'm doing daily TikToks of different triggers that you guys enjoy. So I love you very much, and without further ado, let's get started. Hello. So I'm gonna be telling some creepy stories because it is that time of the year. I'm not reading the Reddit ones, but if you guys want the creepy Reddit stories, I can definitely do those for you guys. I thought that I would just do some scary stories that I've kind of like heard on TikTok and I've just like experienced myself, and then I've had family members do. So I have a scary story. This is from one of my uncles, and this is from him living in Guatemala or El Salvador. I think it's from Guatemala because all my family is from Guatemala. Okay, so basically I remember my uncle remembers that he was driving with his son down a dirt road, and he said that it was late and his son was maybe like 10 or 12, and they were driving, and they just had like a bad feeling, and like the way that he expressed it, it was kind of like foggy. It was like the perfect setup for like a gloomy night, and it was a dirt road because they had gone to one of their family members in like a little village, and they don't have like paved roads. So he was walking, and as he was walking in the middle of the road, all of a sudden he sees a coffin, and it was a child's coffin, and his son all of a sudden goes pale white, and he cannot speak. Like his son all of a sudden cannot speak at all, like he's just like choked up. And so what happens is that he basically drives around the coffin really slowly, kind of like curious but scared, and almost like he doesn't really have a lot of control because he's just overcome by fear. He drives by the coffin and they don't see anybody. He continues to drive, and as they look behind them, they can see a child from like the way that they describe it. He was wearing like a little uniform, and he had like the flaps over his uniform, and it was like white with like high tights. There was was now a little boy sitting on the actual coffin itself, and he was just like with his head looking over. So they were confused because they didn't know like what was happening to this child to come out of nowhere. Like, why is he on the coffin? Where did he come from? But they knew that it wasn't something like alive. So they just drove off as fast as they possibly could, because like you just don't know, especially from what I understand is in small villages, like you just don't know. Okay, so that is the very first story that I heard. I have a lot of scary stories. Actually, I have a scary story of my own, another scary story of my own, and I wouldn't say it's like so scary, but I would say it was definitely a paranormal experience for me. So I have an aunt, and she is my aunt that I just love and adore. She is like a mother to me, and she owned this house, and she had, so I'll give you guys like the layout. She had 3 bedrooms, and the bedrooms were like in an L shape, okay? So this was like the entrance of the house, and then there was like the living room, the kitchen, and there was the garage that was linked straight to the house. But then if you go further into the house, it was like an L shape. So there was 1 bedroom here at the corner. Then you walk down the hall, there was a bathroom and the laundry room, and then when you get to the end of the hall, there were 2 bedrooms right across each other. And this bedroom is where, you know, the paranormal thing happened. But this bedroom was occupied by my uncle. They weren't uncle and aunt that were married. They were uncle and aunt that were like their brother and sister were married, so they were roommates. And so my aunt was having a garage sale and a yard sale, and there was, and that other room, that room was empty. That's where my cousin lived, and he moved out. So naturally, he had left behind some furniture. He's like, I just don't want it. Like, you can do whatever you want with it. So there were people coming in and out of the house, like being escorted by my aunt to look at this dresser and like another piece of furniture. And that room had a very big window that I think the screen wasn't working on it. So I remember being in my uncle's room, and I was on his computer, and I think I was maybe like, I don't know, like 10 or 12 at the time. No, like maybe 10 or 11. And I was on his computer. I was like looking at things on his computer, and then all of a sudden I just get like this feeling to get up, and I start calling him. I'm like, Thea, like, where's my aunt? And I go into the room across it, and I see this man, and he was like dark tan skin. He was like Latino, he was Hispanic, and his skin was like dark tan, like he had been in the sun and he got really tan. And he had like from the 1980s, 1990s, like, I don't know if you guys remember, like those silky kind of like button down shirts that were loose. It was like that, and I can remember it even now. And it had like a print on it. It was like a blue color, and he had some jeans and they were slightly loose, and some black shoes. I remember this, you guys. I know this is really creepy. And his hair was kind of like a fro, and like one of my uncles, his hair was really curly. That was like a fro, but they're Hispanic, you know, probably with some mixed descendants, I don't know, but his hair was like a little fro, but he was Hispanic. And so I walk across to the other room, and I look, and he has his hands behind his back, and he's just looking at the piece of furniture. And I look at him and I go, like, are you supposed to be here? But I didn't say that, I just thought it. And he kept like kind of like circling, like kind of like back, like, you know, like when you're thinking at the piece of furniture, it was like maybe a dresser, I think. And then he looks up at me, and I look at him, and then he just shakes his head, and then he just keeps looking at the piece of furniture, and this all happened in a matter of seconds. And I think to myself, sudden I can like see through him, but it's still him, but I can now just see through him, and I know that I don't think he's a man, like a live man. And I just walked to the front of the door, to the front of the house, and my aunt's there with my uncle, and they're sitting down, and I go like, yeah, like, who is that man in my cousin's room, or like what used to be my cousin's room? She's like, what do you mean we haven't let anybody in? And I'm like, what do you mean you haven't shown anybody the furniture? And she's like, no one's been here for like an hour. And I'm like, yeah, there's a man in my cousin's room. And she's like, what? Like, what? We went back to the room and there was nobody there. And my aunt is very, I'm gonna use the word very metaphysical. And she's like, I think you saw a ghost. And the reason that she said that is because we think that that house was haunted, and we think that there was multiple entities, multiple spirits in there, because we would see shadows, we would hear plates in the kitchen, and it was like active. And so yeah, my aunt looks at me, she's like, I think you saw someone, like you saw a spirit. And then another time, I remember we were young too. I think I was like 10. I want to say I was 10. And then another time, so the L shape, right? So I saw someone in this room. And this was my aunt's room. It was the master suite that had like an ensuite bathroom. So we were in my aunt's room. When we would sleep over, we would stay there. So it was morning, and my cousin's girlfriend was babysitting us. I remember her name. I liked her very much, and she was so cool to me, you know. And I remember we had woken up and we were watching SpongeBob, and she was like her job, she would work at night, so she was like tired, right? And I just remember like we would make fun of her, but like a little kid, we like, she would breathe in our face and her breath stinked, and you know, people's breath stink when they wake up. It's like morning breath. But I just remember thinking like, I'm hungry, like I want to go get some cereal or something. And like when I thought that, I just remember hearing like dishes like fall, like dishes fall and break. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if my grandmother was there at the time or not, but I'm like, someone's here. And it was so loud, like the dishes breaking were so loud that she woke up and she's like, oh my gosh, like did someone break in? And she thought someone had broken in, but that was not the kind of neighborhood that was, you know. And so we went to the so she went, and she had a bat, and she went to the kitchen, and the kitchen was like, everything was in its place. Nothing had been moved around. No one had been there. There was no signs of entry. And later that my aunt lived there, she like, we would hear that so much. We would hear the dishes, and nothing had been moved. Sometimes some things had been moved. And then one time that was really scary. And this is why I think there were multiple entities in that house, is because the one that I saw in the room, like that was nothing, like there was just a man. But then there was a dark, tall, and I get goosebumps when I speak of this one. And I'm gonna cleanse this room when I'm done, but there was a dark entity, and we would see it at night. And like, remember the L, right? The L shape of the L shape of the room. So my aunt's room was here. We would always, it was like the biggest room, so we just always would be in her room when it was like bedtime or nighttime. And we saw a man like cross this way, and we could see it out of this corner. My grandfather saw it, my mother saw it, my aunt saw it, and one time my aunt or my mom thought that it was my cousin, and they were calling his name, and they're like calling his name, and they're like, why didn't you come say hi, like it's really late? And they go into his room, open the door, and there's nobody. And they're like, he's messy because my cousin is a jokester. They went to the bathroom, nobody. They went to nobody. No one was in the house but us. And that was so very creepy. Like, I remember that was creepier than seeing the man and hearing the dishes. That wasn't scary. I mean, it may be scary to most, but for me, it wasn't scary. But that was a scary moment. And, yeah, just, I've had a lot of, like, really creepy moments happen. A lot of creepy moments happen. Not creepy, but, like, I guess you could say, like, paranormal things. But I wanted to share these, like, paranormal stories. And I want you guys to share with me your paranormal stories, because we're, like, in the spooky season. And if anyone knows anything about me, I love October. I love the spooky season. I love everything that comes with this season, and spooky stuff is like one of the things for me. So let me know down below what your scary stories are, if you have any, if you think you've had any. Chances are you have had them if you think you have them, by the way. But I love you guys so very much, and I just want to remind you that every day is a good day to have a good day. And I want you to get up, and I want you to wake up, and I want you to go and live your best life. I love you guys so very much, and I just want to thank you guys for being here for me. We're now approaching the 2nd year in May, and it has been phenomenal. I will keep having the shorts coming, and there's just so much fun things in store that